Johnny Somali threatened a judge and his mother.
First thing, let's recap where we left off.
Shout out North Korea. Shout out Pyongyang. Shout out Kim Jong-un. That's my nigga till the day I die. National Intelligence Security Charge. Does anybody know what the that means?
Yo.
Somali say something. Somali say. Say.
Culture forms the identity of a people. History is the soul that shapes a nation. It is not just a distant memory, but the lifeblood that nourishes pride, the thread connecting millions across generations. It is so sacred that no one, not even leaders of global superpowers, would dare to show it disrespect. Yet Ramzi Khalid Ismail, also known as Johnny Somali, blatantly trampled on all of those values, not once but time and again, with boundless arrogance and unforgivable audacity.
As a Somali person, I would like to apologize to the people of Japan. He is from the ethnic Oromo family of Ethiopia. He has done a lot of hateful and mean things using our name. Jail him.
Self-proclaimed as a borderless provocateur, Johnny Somali quickly drew thousands of viewers through his chaotic live streams, where he insulted strangers, secretly filmed women, defied local laws, and called it entertainment art. From Tokyo's bustling streets to Seoul's historic landmarks, he turned every place into a stage for chaos and callousness. But when the livestream lights went off, Johnny Somali was no longer an internet phenomenon. He became a defendant. The videos that once amused viewers became evidence against him. Japan deported him. South Korea sentenced him to 31 years in prison, a record for a streamer. Yet, it still might not be enough. Even the people of Somalia, his homeland, refused to welcome him. How could someone turn attention into a weapon of self-destruction? All for a few views and donations. This isn't just the story of an individual's fall. It's a wake-up call about the toxic content celebrated, shared, and paid for daily on the internet. Today, we'll expose his entire journey from when Johnny Somali was seen as a controversial phenomenon to when he became the poster child for live stream failure. But first, let's go back to the beginning, when his arrogance was still considered entertainment.
Just drop in Discord right now. Hop in Discord. Oh, whoa.
All you have to say is stop.
Ramadan Abdullah Jr., better known as Johnny Somali, began his live streaming career in 2021 with a provocative IRL style, roaming streets, confronting strangers, and constantly pushing social boundaries with offensive behavior. From videos of picking fights and insulting passers-by to deliberately staging drama to go viral, Johnny quickly gained attention on Twitch, YouTube, and later Kick. With his fearless persona, he amassed around 50,000 followers on Twitch by 2023 alongside millions of views from clipped videos. But notably, the negative backlash from viewers rather than deterring him fueled his drive. Johnny became addicted to attention, thriving on angry reactions and controversy. Nearly every stream revolved around provoking crowds and escalating conflicts. To keep fanning the flames, he expanded his operations not just in the US, but globally. He branded himself as a travel content creator, but in reality, he was a troublemaker wandering to stir up chaos, secretly filming and deliberately disrespecting local cultures for views. By weaponizing outrage as currency, Johnny created a form of hate content where moral boundaries could be shattered if the payoff was high enough. But like a double-edged sword, this reckless approach began to backfire. As domestic audiences grew numb to his antics, Johnny Somali turned to international targets, especially Asian countries like Japan, where he believed polite cultures would let him bend rules without consequences. Ironically, the place he thought was safest became the one that pushed him to the brink of collapse. With the sole aim of chasing views at any cost, Johnny Somali turned live stream platforms into stages for offensive behavior. Upon arriving in Japan in 2023, he quickly became a focal point of outrage. One of the gravest incidents occurred in August 2023 on a Tokyo subway. In a drunken state, Johnny live-streamed himself confronting a Japanese passenger. He began by referencing Pearl Harbor, deliberately provoking a man sitting nearby. When he didn't get the reaction he wanted due to Japan's culture of avoiding direct conflict, Johnny switched tactics to draw attention. In an offensive mock Asian accent, he shouted, "Hiroshima, Nagasaki, you know what we did to you. You don't know how to behave. I swear to God, if you don't act right, we'll do it again."
Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Hiroshima, Nagasaki, you know what we did to you. Hiroshima, Nagasaki, we destroy.
These words weren't just historical blasphemy, but a direct attack on the painful memory of the 1945 nuclear bombings, which killed hundreds of thousands and left permanent scars on Japan's psyche. The video rapidly spread across social media, not just in Japan but worldwide, sparking unprecedented outrage. The international public, including those from Johnny's homeland, couldn't tolerate his actions. A Japanese American living in Japan for 35 years commented on X, "As an American in Japan, I find him a disgrace. He deserves 3 years in jail, the maximum fine, and deportation. Prison time is necessary for him to learn his lesson." A Somali native added, "I apologize to the Japanese people. He's of Oromo descent from Ethiopia but has done many toxic things under the Somali name. Lock him up." But Johnny didn't stop. He called Japanese people NPCs, implying they were soulless like video game characters, and boasted, "The more people hate me, the more views I get, the more money I make." In an Osaka live stream, he clashed with popular female streamer Miyako, insulting her. "Oh, a pretty streamer? On Kick? 2,000 views? I only got 1,300. He trashed the Kick platform on her stream, causing her to cry and end the broadcast. This incident ignited fury in Japan's online community, where Miyako was beloved. Johnny's actions didn't just hurt an individual, they provoked an entire community. The public backlash spread rapidly. Outlets like Asahi Shimbun and Mainichi Shimbun branded him a history-offending foreigner. Johnny became a target for local groups. Wherever he went, crowds confronted him, jeering and even engaging in physical scuffles. Everywhere he was demanded to apologize. Under pressure, he issued a public apology. "I don't hate Japan. I said hurtful things by mistake, though it was a long time ago. I came here to party and meet Japanese girls."
I don't hate you guys. I don't hate Japan. I said something a little bit hurtful, and I understand that you guys are mad about it. Even though it was very long ago, I want to come here to enjoy Japan. I want to go to the club. I want to smash some Japanese ladies. I want to party. I want to have a good time.
But this insincere apology was mocked as a half-hearted effort. He even blamed his audience, claiming they paid him to act out, which only deepened public contempt. "Does he think we're kids?" An ex-user wrote. Instead of stopping, Johnny tore up a Japanese flag, shouted "Fuck Japan," and posted atomic bomb images online. The breaking point came in September 2023 when he disrupted an Osaka restaurant, leading to his arrest for obstructing business. By December, prosecutors proposed a 200,000 yen fine. On January 10, 2024, Johnny was convicted and deported from Japan. Many felt the penalty was too lenient. One comment read, "He should have been jailed. Pity those who had to encounter him in real life." The deportation marked the end of his provocative live streams in Japan. But as an ex-user once said, the word fear isn't in his dictionary. And true enough, Johnny Somali's next stop was South Korea, where even graver troubles awaited. After being deported from Japan in early 2024, Johnny Somali, with his arrogant disregard for consequences, continued his disruptive journey in South Korea, starting in September 2024. Instead of learning from his past, he escalated his shock tactics, crossing cultural and legal boundaries that a nation like South Korea could not forgive. What he did in Japan, provoking, insulting history, and secretly filming locals' reactions, was replicated almost identically in South Korea. But this time, the severity went far beyond. From his first days in Seoul, Johnny followed his old playbook, roaming public places like buses, subways, and streets to cause trouble. He shouted offensive phrases like "Chinese virus," "China," "Huawei," or English, "Speak English, I don't speak Korean," deliberately harassing locals and recording their reactions for views. These actions, already controversial in Japan, remained his formula for success. But this time, he went too far. The first major incident occurred when Johnny live-streamed himself swaying to Badotai, an imperial Japanese military march, while performing a Roman salute and calling out, "Korea, go fight Japan." This wasn't just ignorance, it was a profound insult to the painful shared history of both nations. Public outrage in South Korea erupted even more fiercely on October 7, 2024, when Johnny kissed a comfort woman statue, a symbol commemorating Korean women forced into sexual slavery during World War II, and declared, "I support Koreans. I love Korea. Everything I did in Japan was for Koreans and Chinese."
I stand with the Korean people. Bring it closer to you. Come closer. I stand with the Korean people. I love Korea. And everything that I did in Japan was for the Korean and the Chinese people.
Described as ripping open historical wounds, this act sparked unprecedented anger. Undeterred, Johnny printed images of himself kissing the statue and handed them out to passers-by, prompting one furious man to attack him on livestream. The widely shared footage marked a turning point. South Koreans no longer saw him as a mere troublemaker, but as a nuisance demanding punishment. Under public pressure, Johnny issued an apology on November 6, 2024. "I want to apologize to the Korean people. I didn't know the statue's significance. I was just trying to create entertaining content." But this insincere performative apology only intensified the outrage. Instead of stopping, he escalated his disruptions with increasingly absurd acts, carrying a bag of rotten fish through Seoul streets, dumping instant noodles on a convenience store counter after being banned from drinking, and even running around in underwear shouting, "Call the police, I'm Johnny Somali," as if taunting an entire nation. Major newspapers condemned him, while online communities hunted for his whereabouts, with some offering a 1 million won-tom or $750 taller. These actions turned Johnny into a symbol of cultural disrespect, infuriating both the online community and locals. But Johnny didn't stop there. He began dragging North Korea into his live streams, a deeply sensitive topic in South Korea. During a broadcast near the inter-Korean border, he declared,
Thank the Lord, thank God. Shout out Kim Jong-un, shout out Pyongyang. I'm gonna tell y'all one thing. The reason why I respect North Korea is because they're dystopian. They are a, fascist place, but they don't lie about it. South Korea is just as fascist. You just lie about it. I touched the statue, so you guys are trying to silence me, murder me, and then jail me. So I might as well be in North Korea.
He further taunted South Korea's National Intelligence Service.
They say the National Intelligence Service gonna come get me. Tell them niggas come find me. I ain't scared of them niggas. Shout out North Korea. Shout out Pyongyang. Shout out Kim Jong-un. That's my till the day I die. Until Kim Jong-un nuke this shit, I just don't want to be here when Kim Jong-un press that red button. They nuke this shit so shit turn to Fallout New Vegas. No, please, Kim Jong-un, press that button.
These live stream statements weren't just provocations, they were deemed a national security threat. A South Korean prosecutor emphasized, this isn't just disrespect, it's considered a direct threat to national security, and the government won't tolerate it. The tipping point came in November 2024, when Johnny shared a deepfake video boasting that he was kissing popular Korean streamer Bong Bong. The AI-generated video violated South Korea's strict deepfake laws, which carry up to 7 years in prison. The victim immediately filed a lawsuit, and Johnny was arrested shortly after. Unlike in Japan, this time the South Korean government imposed an exit ban, detaining him for investigation and trial. The first trial took place on March 7, 2025. There, Johnny Somali pleaded guilty to some charges, such as obstructing business and public disturbance, but denied the more serious accusations related to deepfake content. By May 2025, he appeared in court for a second hearing, with a third scheduled for August 2025, when additional charges were expected to be examined more thoroughly. Johnny Somali's flippant attitude in the courtroom only added fuel to the fire. He arrived late, wearing an oversized suit and a controversial MAGA hat, and responded to the judge with open mockery. After the hearing, he even live-streamed sneering national security charges. Anyone know what that is? They asked about my ties to North Korea. I said I plead the fifth. He invoked free speech to justify his actions, but South Korean law doesn't take lightly to praising or inciting issues related to North Korea. A legal expert confirmed publicly praising North Korea is a serious crime under the National Security Act. Prosecutors later released a formal list of charges against Johnny Somali: insulting historical symbols, harassment, spreading false content, and violating the National Security Act, with a potential combined sentence of up to 31 years in prison. This was an extraordinarily severe penalty, unprecedented for a foreign streamer in South Korea. Johnny Somali was not only branded an undesirable foreigner, but also banned from major platforms like Twitch and Kick. His case sparked international debate about the line between controversial content and punishable behavior. With no audience, no platforms, and no freedom left, all that remains is a man who drove himself to rock bottom, met with the cold silence of the law. From Johnny Somali's story, the most critical takeaway isn't just one person's moral decay, but a stark warning about the digital ecosystem that breeds such phenomena daily. We shouldn't just ask, why do people like him exist, but look at the bigger picture and question, what are we celebrating, what are we spreading, and what are we staying silent about? Johnny isn't a social anomaly. He's an inevitable product of an environment designed to reward unethical behavior, nurture boundary-pushing content, and favor those who manipulate collective anger and curiosity. In that space, you don't need knowledge, kindness, or community contribution, just the ability to shock and make people share because it's too outrageous to ignore. Instead of being eradicated, such deviant content is amplified by algorithms, propped up by media, and unwittingly enabled by the community. Not because society lacks morals, but because morals are increasingly sidelined in the value equation, replaced by engagement, watch time, and ad revenue. Righteousness loses weight if it doesn't retain viewers. Wrongdoing is no longer taboo if it can go viral across platforms. In that world, Johnny Somali isn't a stray. He's a master of the game. We live in an era where fame is no longer a reward for talent or contribution, but for being loud. When society fails to build value-based guardrails, those who strive to do right, act kindly, or build meaningfully are overshadowed by the spotlight on those who break every norm. True talent is drowned out by scandal. Genuine creativity is left behind by sensational stunts. Anything can become content, even harm, offense, or the erosion of human decency. So what's left when it's all over? When the lights go out, platforms ban accounts, and the law steps in, what remains for those who climb to the top by trampling moral boundaries? Nothing but a tainted name and a digital archive they can't erase. The deeper question isn't just for them, but for us, the viewers, sharers, commentators, and laughers who keep the engagement soaring. In a system where virality depends on user behavior, the audience isn't blameless. Every unquestioned view, unconsidered share, or silent scroll normalizes what should be restricted. Let's be clear, none of us are entirely innocent. We may not create the content, but we sustain it. We may not cheer outright, but we don't stop it. That gap between action and silence is where phenomena like Johnny Somali are born, thrive, and spread. Instead of asking why do people like Johnny Somali exist, it's time for the tougher question. Why are so many ready to dismiss decency and idolize those who trample it? This question isn't for one person. It's for the entire system. Families, education, media, tech, and every individual holding a phone daily. Today's youth don't grow up in a vacuum. They grow up in a content jungle, where every TikTok swipe is a subtle lesson in norms, every recommended clip a message about what society prioritizes. If sensationalism consistently tops the charts, can we blame kids for emulating it? If toxicity is seen as a smart ploy for fame, is there space for true values to survive? Change won't come from a single call to action, but every reversal starts with a pause. The first pause is recognizing our role as a link in the content chain. We don't need to be heroes, but we can refuse to be enablers. We must rethink what we watch. We must support creators who build, not destroy. We must stop downplaying boundary-crossing behavior and start seeing it as a signal to speak up. Otherwise, what's left on these platforms won't be creativity, community, or knowledge, but a chaotic mess of compromise, misdirection, and ultimately the fracturing of our collective conscience. Fame itself isn't the issue. How it's achieved and how society responds to it determines where we're headed. Johnny Somali's story, when examined deeply, is not just the tragedy of an individual trading everything for fleeting fame. It's a shattered mirror reflecting the culture we're collectively shaping and allowing to crack day by day. A culture where value is measured by virality, morality is seen as an obstacle, and fame is completely detached from responsibility. We live in an era where anyone can broadcast, anything can become content, and any behavior, no matter how warped, can be packaged as just entertainment. But the truth is, when entertainment lacks conscience, the line between human and tool begins to vanish. We're no longer consuming content, we're consuming others' pain as a 24/7 commodity. And the more someone is willing to break moral boundaries, the easier it is to be called a trendsetter. In that world, the boundaries between art and manipulation, humor and offense, free expression and social irresponsibility become dangerously fragile. If no one dares to redraw those fundamental lines, society won't just produce more Johnny Somalis, it will start losing the collective ability to distinguish right from wrong. Thus, the ultimate lesson isn't pointing fingers at the wrongdoer, but a responsible nod toward ourselves. Content freedom is precious, but it should never be severed from moral obligation. When content reaches millions, shaping an entire generation's emotions, every post, video, expression, and behavior on camera becomes a brick in the foundation of our culture. And that culture, whether positive or negative, mirrors what we endorse, forgive, or ignore. We're not just victims swept along, we're also indirectly nurturing that culture through our daily actions. Every view is a vote, every share is a voice, and every silence is tacit approval. We might think we're just watching for fun, that a single click changes nothing, but that apathy, multiplied millions of times, is what turns deviance into trends, sensationalism into strategy, and infamy into a formula for success. The future of the digital space, and beyond that, the future of social interaction, collective learning, and shared moral values, doesn't lie in the hands of a streamer, an algorithm, or any censorship body. It lies in the small, repeated choices of every user, choosing to watch or not, to share or not, to speak up or stay silent, to question or ignore. No grand slogans are needed. Sometimes it's just scrolling past instead of clicking, quietly unfollowing instead of sharing for fun, refusing to laugh with the crowd at someone else's pain. A well-timed silence can be the start of a society that sets boundaries, respects values, and nurtures kindness. Because every small action, when aligned with the right direction, is a declaration that we deserve a cleaner digital space, a more civilized community, and a generation that doesn't need to destroy itself to be seen. If we start making those choices daily, we might still have time to rewrite this story before it becomes a tragic recurring chapter of the digital century.